Ta-da! Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Jason. I will be your guide in the human anatomy figure drawing studio today. This is really a journey in growing together, and I did this after the video yesterday, but I decided that I wanted to put together all of the muscles that we've been learning. So, you know, frontal muscle, procerus, nasalis, that's the LSAN, Orbicularis Oculi, Orbicularis. What's the mouth one? Anyways, that's what we did. I can draw them all now. I'm still learning the names, and same thing with the bones. So that's what we're doing. Let's jump right into it. How do people learn how to draw? Are you guys beginners? Are you advanced? If you've been following along, every day in class we do our face phase drawing out of drawing on the right side of the brain. And then we do our anatomy study, and then we do some figure drawing and portraiture. Because the main goal is for everyone to be drawing self-portraits, not just me. I mean, I want to learn. I'm still learning, but it's important for everyone to know how. But it's, it's a bit of a process. So maybe if y'all can see someone do it, if you see someone start not, oops, what the hell, which side is up? I've loved this pencil sharpener up until this minute. My goodness, everybody. If you want to see the real drawing part, just skip ahead and click the link. I usually start out much earlier. I just made a mess. Alright, we're 2 minutes in. Alright, not too bad. So this book says that anyone can draw because drawing is a global activity in the brain, just like riding a bike. And that means you can learn relatively fast. All you need to do is practice the 5 basic skills of drawing, which are perception of edges, spaces, relationships, lights and shadows, and gestalt is the 5th, which is really the first 4 put together. There, I just gave you a SparkNotes version. The next thing the book talks about is accessing the right hemisphere of the brain, which is specialized for drawing. It actually has a facial recognition pattern part of the brain. It's really it makes everything a lot easier. But yeah, the left hemisphere wants to take up all the tasks because it usually gets us through the day. But the right brain, you need to give the left brain a task that it'll reject. And that's how you get to the right brain if you're unfamiliar with it. Sorry, if I'm just trying to get through all of this so we can get into the drawing part. So this exercise helps you feel that in your brain if you're unfamiliar with it. So that's why I always like to start there. And it's good proof to see where someone is in their development, I guess. So on the first side, you copy it right out of the book. Just draw it as best as you can silently. And then on the other half, label it out loud. So watch me and do it yourself. So chin, lips, nose, forehead. Okay. I was a little slow that time because I didn't want to mess up. But that's the exercise. And why did we do this, everybody? Because when you say it out loud on the second half, the left hemisphere clashes with the right hemisphere because it's the linguistic versus visual spatial. And one needs to give up, which is the left brain. So this is silly. I was drawing out of habit. I was barely even looking at the picture. So that's how that went today. I like to color it in a little bit. Also, it's kind of fun when they come out a little bit different. If it was exactly perfect every single time, I mean, that would be probably good for something. But that's that. Sign and date 4/23/2021, JSJ with my butterfly insignia, smiley face. So try that for yourself. The book says set a timer for 5 minutes, but that's just how we like to start our class. Do we want to set a little note? I like to do messages to myself later. Putting it in our binder. This was one that we did yesterday. Versus today. We did that spot better. The lips, the bottom. It looks like it's supposed to. All of them usually do. I'm gonna have an animation where I just put them all on top of each other. Back into our anatomy. That's what I did last night. I also did this. That was fun. I used colored paper, and when I was using colored paper, I realized I could finally use the white colored pencil. So maybe I don't need to get toned paper. Maybe I can just use any kind of colored paper. That's what we did on our video yesterday. And we've got some more practice. That's our 3/4 view. Lots and lots of front-ons. But today we're going to do the side view out of our anatomy book. I'm just going to skip ahead because you guys have heard me give the spiel like 100 times by now. And you just want to see me draw. That's what we've got in the book. This is what we've done so far without the muscles. So we really haven't put any of the muscles on the side of the head yet. So if we want to do that part of drawing the muscles, we need to draw the skull first. Put that on the side. Drink green tea, it's good for your health. Okay, 7 minutes. Usually we're like 12 minutes in by now. I want this class to go under an hour, or at least add an hour. And to finish off with this book, there are other exercises that help you train on the right side of the brain, as well as the first 5 skills. So, A Course in Enhancing Creativity and Artistic Confidence by Betty Edwards. Get the newest edition. Otherwise, it's somewhere. But it's the newest edition is the best. Jumping right in, moving kind of quickly. The link that I provided should bring you up until this point, right? Now, ooh, I've got the wrong pencil. Now, there's a little blooper. So what I'm doing is starting out with a circle. I have the mouse in the way. Oops. So yeah, starting out with a circle. Kind of gets cut off there. That's basically the shape that I'm going for, right? I'm going to copy like almost exactly the same size if I can. Oops, that's in the wrong spot. Oh, that's interesting. Nah. It's funny how you just keep on discovering stuff each time you do it. So there's like a crest on top, or a C, or a rainbow. Whatever you want. The occipital bone lines up with about the zygomatic arch. And then we've got the orbital. And here's the frontal bone, the parietal bone, back to the occipital bone. Bring it back in. Occipital, external occipital protuberance. Sorry, I'm getting all the language in. There's a little triangle over here. And then we've got the mastoid process. And there's one here and another little shadowy one. We've got the external auditory meatus. It was right above that. That's really our ear hole. Let's give a little bit of shading. Just a little smidgies. But we're going to be going over this in a second. Gotta stop saying that magic word. So there's like a little wave in the mastoid process. So no, the zygomatic process. There we go. La 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 la, because that's where the masseter is going. So if we put in the bone, right on top of it is where the muscle will go. La 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 la. And what's this? The temporomandibular joint. What's this? The angle of the, think of a bug, mandible. So it's kind of easy for me to put in the details. You watch me mess up now, though. Because I put a little bit of a, a gesture of where everything's going to go. So then you can just fill it in. And that way, I feel like it takes a lot of the surprise out of the drawing. So it's important to really have a good like foundation for your drawing, because otherwise you could be an hour into a drawing and realize that it's all fucked up. This is not a kids channel, so I'm allowed to speak that way. Okay. I mean, it looks kind of weird. Do I need to bring it out a little more? No, I don't really want to, though. Oh, I made the mistake I always make, which is this is supposed to line up pretty close, and it's not lining up at all over here. And I think what happens is usually this is in the wrong spot and not this. So I'm actually going to draw it in from the right and then fill it in from the left this time. And see if that changes anything in my drawing. Oops, and there's this whole shadowy area over here that we didn't fill in at all. La, 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 la. So yeah, anatomy is just really important if you want to do anything else in your figure drawing. La, 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 la. Yeah, you'll see the results like, I want to say really fast, but that might not be the most helpful thing to say. You'll see results really fast, everybody, if you practice your anatomy. So, show me your work. Drop me a comment. And, yeah, link some of your stuff. I'm sure it's really good. Okay, so I think I fixed this a little bit. And it's important to get everything in the right spot, because otherwise all of the muscles will be in the wrong spot. I used to be really against using the pencil's eraser. I'm not against using the eraser, but I am against, like, compulsively using the eraser, where like you're drawing a line. Oh, no. Oh, wait, I can't move on. If you find yourself not able to move on in a drawing, just like start over. My God. Do yourself a favor and give up. So, I love making these videos. I think everyone should be doing it. Do 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 do. I'm really just practicing. Like this all came about because I was going to be drawing anyway. And drawing is a language that everyone should know how to speak. And it's kind of frustrating living in a world where no one speaks your language. So that's literally what this is about. Is just like putting that out into the world. So the more of us, the better. It's a culture war, but it's really just like artists. I know this is wrong, but why is it wrong? Something is too big and something is out of place, but I can never quite get it. But that's okay. I think I'm done. I could put in the teeth. Let's do like a little ghost of a teeth. 2, 3, just so we don't, we can stay in practice. No, it's like you gotta stay in shape, even with drawing. I said it again. I know that I've said in past videos that drawing is a skill that doesn't degrade over time. But even though your skills aren't degrading, they're not getting better. So someone who is practicing while you're not practicing is going to get better than you. And I don't know why, but that little bit of sense of competition was really something that like nailed it home for me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh goodness. 6, 6, 7, 7, 8. Uh-huh. It's kind of like if there are any anime fans out there in Naruto where it was Kakashi versus Might Guy, and when they were growing up, their fathers were like, had acknowledged that Kakashi was a genius, but at the same time, Might Guy was a genius in working hard. So, that's what's going on, everybody. La 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 la. I don't want to overdo it. Okay, so I always kind of can't fit in this one spot down here. And I think it's because the jaw is wrong. Like, okay, so the angle of the mandible is like here. And then that goes down like that. So I'm going to use my eraser again, everybody. Except you'd never know unless you'd watch the video. Because in the finished product, you don't really see the erasing. But that looks wrong too. I think I brought in a little too much. It's like something like that. And then there should also be shading along this whole thing. So that basically sums it up for drawing our side profile view skull, which really isn't that different from the face vase, because if I were to do the profile of the face vase over this, that's pretty much it. And we can do that in like 15 seconds now. So drawing is really that easy. You just practice and it takes the mystery out. You know, what does it take to ride a bike? Well, you gotta push your feet and you gotta keep your balance and you hold the steering wheel. And drawing is the same thing, except it's being able to perceive edges and spaces and relationships and lights and shadows. Lights and lights and shadows. I almost said lights and darks, but that's the same. And then just alt. I'm overdoing it. Gotta move on, Jason. Classroom's getting boring. Just kidding. It's a lot like when I went through teacher training for being a yoga instructor. Yeah, I guess any kind of teaching is the same. So now that we have our, I don't know what's on with the nose though. The nasal bone. Do 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 do. I feel like I've basically lined it up, but something is just like not. Maybe it's coming out just a little bit too much. No, it's supposed to go out more like that. La 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 la. There's a lot of measuring that happens in drawing, and don't fight it. When I was learning, the teacher. Shout out to Mr. Nunez. You know, you're allowed to measure that isn't like the way that they say in the book, because you're really just, for your drawing, you're triangulating whatever is in your head. And if a book tells you, oh, you need to measure, you know, from here to here and here to here to here to here to here to here, you're just like, oh my God, this is crazy. Can I just look at it? Just look at it. You'll come up with your own measurements, which is really where measurements came from in the first place. It was, the author or whatever just making the measurements that made sense to them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those are the only measurements that exist. But if it helped them, then maybe it'll help us, which is why we are using the measurements in this book. We're just not going crazy with it. So I could literally just do a profile on top of this. That would be so easy. Now, that's the progression. You draw this, that's what we did, and now we're going to do this. And then after that, we will do this. How exciting. That'll be a fun video, but let's go ahead and start. La 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 la. Should I do them individually? Yeah, I think I will. No. I'll do what I can. What the heck? There we go. So this is where we're going. We're only 22 minutes in, and we've got... Oh, goodness. I know the skull needs to come out like a little bit more. Ah, what did I just do? It's just that it's driving me crazy. Something's off. How's that? Is that better? I think that may be a little better. I'm going to leave it. I feel like that's a little bit better, but I'm not going to erase the hard line in there. It's just like a weird aura. So, if we can lay the muscles on top of this and everything goes well, then that means we did a good job. I feel like that's what happened. Just to compare the difference. I've drawn this skull front on many, many times, and with many muscles in many different occasions. So that's why we were able to complete the full face. I don't know the name. That's like the Mentalis. I don't know all of them, all the names, but we can basically draw everything in a front view. So yeah, I keep just saying, today we're going to do the side view. And it's going to be kind of ambitious. So we're only 23 minutes into class, and we've got an hour minimum, but sometimes we go over. I hate that I say so much. I have to get that out of my system. I made this way too dark. I'm kind of like slapping myself. Like, why did you do that again? Oh well. So where should we start on our side? Let's start with I want to start with the Temporalis. I really like the Temporalis. And then we'll do the Massator next. So it's orange here, and it's orange here. So let's make them both orange. And then when we're done, we will go over everything on top with more color. So let me just get a little bit of a gist of where we're going. And then it swoops around like that. Doot, 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 doot. And then it's got fibrous materials that basically go from here to here, and it pulls it down. Is that right? It doesn't even show. All the other ones, it gives you a good direction. Wah, 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 boop, 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 boop. I'm just trying to save us time. Otherwise, I would be like really going hard on these fibrous lines. Okay. And then there's like a white little space around it. So I'm going to draw that in anyway. It's like a little clam. And then it looks like it goes all the way underneath the zygomatic process down here behind even the mandible. I'm still making it darker, and I'm like talking about how I need to make it not dark like that. Okay. Eventually, it would be so cool if we can draw it where you can see all three of them on top of each other, where I draw the skull with this on top, with this on top of that, on top of that. I think that would be really fun, you know, doing that, but you can still see her skeleton. But it looks layered upon. You know how some artists are really good at making some things look like they're in front of other things? We haven't gotten to that yet, but I feel like we're getting there. Anyways, back to the drawing. It's attached from the zygomatic bone to the angle of the mandible and the body. So it really goes from here, and it covers just like, you know, the back of the teeth a little bit. And it goes from, you know, the 1, 2, 3. There's bumps, but they're like waves, is what I called them before. And it does not cover the temporomandibular joint, but it covers pretty much the ramus, the angle of the mandible, and half the body. But it doesn't go all the way down to the mental tubercles. I love that I can say all of those words and I know what I'm talking about. I really should practice the first chapter. We'll get to it, because that's got all of the language. I'm going to be a little more careful with contouring the muscles, because it looks ugly when you crisscross them. You know, your body is really impressive with the way that it organizes itself, I gotta say. And there's a superficial portion and a deep portion of the masseter. So make sure that in your drawing you can define, instead of erasing anything that I have underneath, I'm just drawing over it. And I'm a little nervous and excited to see how it comes out, because up until now we've been erasing our work. But I really like the idea of not erasing it, and you can see what's underneath it. I'm really getting pumped for this. It's going to look totally crashed at the end, though. See, here they draw on the eyeballs. I haven't done that yet, but there's a drawing in the back that is really good with the eyeballs. So we've got Orbicularis Oculi, and then on the mouth, it's also called Orbicularis Oris. Oculi oris. So I guess oculi is Latin for eye, and oris is mouth in Latin, because it's Latin. So, but this is a side view. That was a front view, and we want a side view. And this is what we've got. La 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 la. So I'm gonna just very lightly draw in what I see over here. Lip, lips on top of this. Oh my goodness, and here's the cartilage of the nose as well. Should I draw all that in? Just like a ghost. La 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 la. I mean, it shouldn't be hard because it comes right out of the nasal bone over here. I'm like, if I just copy the book, it shouldn't be so scary, right? And even if it doesn't look that good, we're going for like miles, you know. If you're going to be a marathon runner, you got to go for the distance. With that being said, I don't want to be like a marathon drawer. I want to be a sprinter drawer. I feel like the nose looks really small. Womp womp. It's supposed to come out to like here for some, or even more. I think that's where I can see the mess up in the nasal bone. It's supposed to go here. Watch me come back later and be like, you idiot, you messed it all up. And then the buccinator. How do I say it? Buccinator. Ugh. At first I call it buccinator. Then I called it buccinator, and it's buccinator. You think you can read, and it turns out you can't, y'all. Okay, so I'm going to go back with my... It's orange again, so I'm going to use orange. And then with the other colors, I'm going to... It's hard because there are so many different muscles, and I want to use different colors to define them. But yeah, you just can't let those colors touch. So orange is going to get greens, then I'll have purples next to that. Blues next to reds. And the Orbicularis oris is what we just drew. So there's lines on the edge, but the lips are not exactly like the lines for some reason. Oh well. Still looks pretty nice. Oh, Grandma, what orange lips you have. I'm calling this drawing Grandma. Because, I mean, your grandma, you're going to want to draw your grandma if she survived COVID. I'm sorry to people who haven't had their grandmas in a long time. Like me, but anyone can be your grandma as well. I'm going to use a light green, and then maybe I'll go over it with a darker green. That's fun. We're having fun today, right? It's cool how our drawing is different than the drawing in the book, but at the same time, they're the same. Alright, so there's a wave. It comes down and down again, and then on the bottom it goes up and kind of like that. Now I'm going to draw some fibrous lines, and then there's a, yeah, I'll show you what I'm doing. Do 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 as I go. Do 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 do. I've got to say the material in our book is really starting to grow. La 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 la. Like I always forget that I did the drawings because you know you always just move on to the next one. And then you'll look back after a couple of weeks and be like, "Oh, I actually have like a full you'll fill up your notebook and you'll just think that that's really cool." I saw in a video an artist talking about the act of creation. No matter how small, you'll be like really proud of yourself. So if you're feeling a little stinky poopy, maybe do a couple push-ups or something and you'll feel better. La, 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 la. I've been doing chin-ups And I also added in some L-sits, because why not? I want to train the front body and the back body at the same time. Eventually we'll make it look more three-dimensional. But that's basically that. La, 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 la. I feel like the lips should even be like a little bigger, but that's probably gonna overkill it. I'm gonna outline everything, I guess, in the end. Because I don't know what it's gonna look like yet. This guy's looking up, so I can't really use that, can I? Goodness, I think we're gonna have to put in the... Yeah, let's do it. The cervical vertebra of the neck. I mean, we've done it enough times that it shouldn't take us very long. Look at those eyeballs. Isn't that good? I should use this over here, but we'll do the muscles. Well, I mean, technically the eyeball would be like here. Would it? Ha 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 ha. I am going to have to end up erasing this, so I will just very lightly erase that. I guess we can leave shadow in the background. Ain't nothing wrong with that. How far out does it come? I guess the eyeball isn't even coming out like halfway. I've never done this part before. I'm kind of excited. So the eyeball, yeah, it looks like it's going kind of like that. Except bigger. I may have totally fucked this guy's face up. Oh well. And then if I were to put an eyelid over it, that's basically what it is. That's not too far off. Oh well, we're learning. I think I can even... I'm gonna have to fix that in a second. No, I can't fix it in a second. I have to fix it right now. Oh my goodness. I don't usually do this, but I'm gonna like erase the whole thing. But it's still there. Just, you know, underneath. So the zygomatic process, that's that. Underneath the nasal bone, or at least the root of the nose. Do 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 do. I know if I really focus and put it in the right spot, then I can confidently put stuff on top of it. So it's like really important to me. Do 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 do. There's like a little thingy here, and then it goes like that. Actually, I don't even think that was very good because the eyelids go in more. Oh, that's what. I just didn't color in the iris at all. I mean the pupil. Do 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 do. And then it goes into the nasal thingy, and then do 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 do. Goodness. Okay, we did it. Ha! It's not perfect, but it's still a face. And I can't believe how far we're going with the drawing today, everybody. We never do this. So the profile comes kind of... There's no nose there, but there's a nose here, so let's just go right on that. And then the lips will just, you know, this is what I said I was going to define later. Wow, that's so easy, because it's like... I already did all the work. Do 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 So what favorite shows did you have growing up? I always like talking about people's favorite cartoons. Anything that's like, inspired their enjoyment. Oh goodness, what did I do? I gave this guy crazy big bones down here. So it goes in and out again. Goodness. I need to get some sort of glove that doesn't smear the whole everything, because I'm always smearing everything. Goodness. Oops, I erased a spot that's supposed to be shadow. You'll barely even notice it when I do the darker tones. Oh well. So, I don't know if I made this guy Arnie or something, but he's decked. He's got huge shoulders. What? Actually, what's going on? That's supposed to be in a little further. You've got a weird shaped voice box thing. And another weird... Drawing is just putting like weird shapes on top of weird shapes. And understanding the process. What? Boop, 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 boop. Now, there are 7 cervical vertebrae in the spine, but you can also see 2 more bones in the spine. I mean, yeah. There are 7 cervical vertebrae in the spine, but the spine is made up of more than just cervical vertebra. There are 7 cervical vertebrae in the neck. The other parts of your spine are your lumbar spine, and what else? 2, 3. I just scribble these in. I don't really... I should focus, but... It's like the teeth. Shit's gonna go on top of it anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just like your bones are so oddly shaped. Maybe that makes them easier to draw, though. Because you don't have to worry about what you're drawing. You just draw. It's good enough for me. Let's put like a little shadow in between my scribbles to define, like to separate them from each other at the very least. My nose is driving me crazy. It's really dry outside today. La 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 la. So yeah, this is what I was talking about before. It does tell you the dimensions of everything. And if everyone was bald, they would, like 99% of people would look exactly the same. So if you can draw a bald person and learn how to give it hair, you can literally just use that. 99% of people look exactly like this bald. So draw a bald person, draw anyone. Now there's, neck muscles going from there to there. Again, they're orange, so why don't we just do orange? As long as there's no orange touching other orange. So it goes from up here, the mastoid process. It's called the Sternocleidomastoid, which is attached to the mastoid process. That's pretty cool. So that's coming from here, and then it goes down to in front of your first rib. So let's just draw that in. And it looks like my bones are like not even in the right spot. And then there's another one underneath it, clavicular head. Is that the same muscle? I do not know. But they're kind of together in the book, so I'm gonna put them together. Do 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 do. It's easier if you draw like the inside and the outside and then fill it in versus moving down one side, I think. La 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 no 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 do 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 do. La 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 la. Okay, so that's that. And this is it from the front view. We will do that next time because we didn't do the neck and down. So let's say that again. Sternocleidomastoid. Sternocleidomastoid. It's got a vernacular where you can sound it out, but then it's also got the correct spelling, and they're just totally different, yos. I'm going to outline it in a second. Oh my goodness, we're 46 minutes in. La, 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 la. How much is left? I feel like there's still a lot to go. Do, 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 do. Let's just hurry it up a little bit. I'm going to use... Let's do the Orbicularis Oculi next, because we already kind of drew it in. And I want to make it red. See, the thing about colored pencils, you have to keep sharpening them, and I'm very partial to my mechanical pencil at this point. So I'm gonna make space for myself to draw this. We did really well so far. Do 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 do. Should I just jump in anywhere? I'm gonna use my colored pencil to use for the Orbicularis Oris. No, Orbicularis Oculi. Oops, I forgot to do the eyelids before. It's like way smaller in the book. La 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 la. Do 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 do. Yeah, it's like totally different. Oh, because I guess, you know, these are bone muscles that go over the bone, and before it was just showing the bone. So that's something that we learned for next time. Alright, so it goes around like so. Orbicularis Oculi. Nailed it. It even goes a little bit around that way. Okay, we've got so many different things to draw. Ooh, there's muscles on top. I knew that's why I was happy to draw that first. So, I guess maybe that's just something that we'll have to practice which colors to layer which on top. Because we're just figuring out this for the first time. We're going to have to get all these different colors sorted. I know the Procerus. Oh, look at that. It's on top. So that is something that we've learned today. There's the Procerus. La 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 la. Let's get some nose stuff going. These are the Nasalis, which goes on top of the cartilage, like that. I just don't want my colors to touch. Do 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 do. I know this is supposed to be purple. Depressor anguli oris goes on top of all of these. And it's a really nice side view. But before I draw that, I know that I should draw the Mentalis. And so there's depressor Labia inferioris. I'm going to make that like blue, I guess. And then the Mentalis I'll make green. Ooh, I'm going to have to learn how to like, what? Weave them together a little better than what I'm doing. So actually this comes out a little further. That's good enough. Looks like it goes... Oh, goodness. Huh. That's supposed to come like... They're almost touching, so maybe I can bring this out. Oh, yeah, this is way more on this side. You can still see what's happening, right? So that's the buccinator. That's a ridiculous name for a muscle. Buccinator. Mine actually are not matching up as well as I want them to. Let's keep going though. The Zygomaticus Major, I'll do blue, and it attaches. My goodness, stop rolling. Clean up after yourselves, or else you'll just give yourself anxiety for reals. This goes from the zygomatic bone to the lips. Guab. I'm just drawing the lines in. And then Zygomaticus minor is in the middle. Oh, I can't do green though. Let's do red, I guess. No. Orange. Well, I'm like out of colors. I guess I'm doing purple. So even though I'm drawing all of these today, I'm gonna draw them all again tomorrow. I drew them yesterday. We're gonna draw it every day for the rest of our lives. And this is the Levator Labii Superioris. Okay, good. I thought I messed up for a second. The Elsan is what goes behind the nose over here. They don't even label it over here. Goodness. Good thing we've learned our shit, though. What color do we want to make the Elsan? Green? Yeah, let's make it green. And it comes from up here, and it goes behind the cartilage of the nose. Quack, quack. The nasalis I'm going to make a little more oomphy. Oomph! Sorry if that was too loud. I'm having fun, though. Art is supposed to be fun. So how's our person looking today? As you can see, if you break it down step by step, anatomy really is much easier than you think. Unless this is crap, then I'm sorry for affronting your vision. Let's make the frontals, I don't know, green? It goes from your superciliary arch all the way to your brow line, I mean your hairline, basically. Frontalis, frontalis, frontalis. frontalis. And then the procerus goes on top of the frontalis over here. And then we've got one is depressor supercilii, and then we've got another orbicular something. I don't know. I'm still learning. Occipital belly of the occipitofrontalis. Okay, that's a name. I'm gonna make it green too. Aren't we having fun? Actually, we're almost done. What's left? I'm just making sure we didn't miss anything. But we didn't. We just got to do down here, and that's it. We're done. Yay! We've got 5 minutes to finish this, everybody. I'm going to test myself. I'm going to make this green. But then what I've realized is that, I'll tell you in a second, there's all this stuff down here that I don't know what any of that is. So, this was all, it doesn't even say. But there's red lines going all like this, so I'm going to draw them in. And then over here, they go like this, and attach here, and then go like that. As well as down like this. A little tiny one down there. And then just to finish up with these, it does say myeloids and digastric. So that's what the last two things that I put in. I'm gonna make that another green one. Ah, we did it! This is our anatomy class for today, everybody. So I hope you had. I'm gonna use the number 2 pencil actually in the final drawing. Oh goodness, I need to train my body to draw really nice lines. That's what I'm doing. Let's separate a couple things from each other. I don't really need to look at the book because I'm just darkening lines that I've already made for the sake of y'all to be able to see it. But it ain't that important for me. Oop, that was stupid. I did the wrong thing. Sometimes you do a stupid thing and there's nothing that you can do about it. But not do it again next time. And sometimes you do it again next time anyway. That's life. This all should really come over higher. I'm just trying to really wrap it up so that we can get to our figure drawing. Yay! That's supposed to come out more. And this is supposed to maybe go in more or something. I don't know. Guab! We've got nice, great lips and some stuff in front and some stuff going in back. This would be how I define that line. You guys just probably see a whole mess of lines, but it does actually kind of match up. It might look better if I actually draw the eye in like semi-well instead of total crap. But we do what we do. I think this took an hour because, you know, that's usually where we cut off in terms of like how long it takes for us to do something new. And then after doing it a couple of times, we actually have found out that we get really fast. So if you're feeling frustrated with how long it takes you to draw something, maybe try drawing it again. Especially after you've calmed down. There's like a little ball back here. A do 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 do. What am I missing? What am I missing? Anything? Do 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 boo 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 do do do. I think that's kind of gonna cover it. We've learned the bones. I'm going to have to review all of the actual terminology, but we've pretty much learned the bones of the skull from the front, from the side, from 3/4. I keep opening this upside down, and I'm so frustrated that I'm going to dump it all out because that's like the 8th time I made a mess on my table. And of course I open it the right way now. What? There's like nothing in here. What the hell? Wrong side. Oh, that's what's going on. They're both... Ugh, goodness. You can open on either side. That's why I kept doing it wrong. I was just opening it wrong. Anyways, sorry for that, everybody. Technical difficulties. So, this was the only one that I didn't put in dark, so I'm just gonna do that, even though it's we're gonna wreck the drawing. I don't really care anymore. I'm gonna write them all down, but not right now, because I've said them like 100 times in the video. Do 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 do. Yep, I'm gonna label them, but you guys don't really need to watch me do that, or should you? I'll do that after. Boop boo doo 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 doo. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be the longest. There, we're only an hour in, so I'm gonna sign and date it. JSJ. Do 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 do. No, I'll label it all later. This is good enough for my thing. 4/23/2021, and I'm gonna make it yellow in the background. It's literally the only one that I wouldn't use for a muscle, because you wouldn't be able to see it very clearly. Also, why did I shy away from drawing the skin on the nose? I gave him a crappy nose. And now I'm making it worse. See, this is why erasing is poopy, because sometimes you like actually fuck up. Oh well, you probably wouldn't even notice if I hadn't said anything though. To other people. La 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 do 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 do. Coloring, 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 coloring. Gave him a little bit of skin. So that's what it takes. That's what it takes. Not bad. I mean, considering we drew the skull and then we drew all the muscles on top of it, and we didn't even skip any. That's all of them. Oh God, why do I keep closing the books? Eventually we're going to do all of that and then do all of the muscles on top, but we even got further than that, so just a little side-by-side comparison. Is there anything I would do differently? I mean, I still need to learn what those underneath muscles are. I still need to learn what some of the names are, and we're still getting the hang of drawing the three-dimensionality. You know, drawing them in and making them look pretty is two totally different things. But we'll get faster and we'll get more fluid and more relaxed with our drawings and develop more of a style. I'm happy where it is so far, though. It's basically what it's supposed to be. Except for maybe, like, if I were to draw that in, that would help a little bit. And so would this. But again, we can keep going on this for, like, forever. So, Ooh. I'm pretty, again, happy with this. I'm exhausted. We're probably going to go back to that front on tomorrow, and I think we might draw this again and add in the neck. And that's just the process. We're going to do that like every day. Eventually, I'll be able to do this and then put on my own features, and we can skip the separation, but we're keeping it all separate right now. Cool. Cool. Yeah. So that's just what it takes to learn anatomy, everybody. As I go further back in time, there's just less information. I'm doing the same thing every day, but building upon it. So now we're into the territory of the actual figure drawing, which is what all of that practice was for. How exciting. Hopefully we'll be able to draw a skull in like 15 seconds and then all of the muscles in another 15 seconds. But we'll never be that fast. Maybe just a couple minutes, but definitely not an hour. I have the wrong paper. Make sure I have one with holes in them, because then I draw and I poke holes out of the drawing later. So this is the part of the video where we need a model, and it's important to actually see the model. So I am going to disrobe. Ooh, after this I'm going to make some lunch. So what are your favorite foods? Are you guys like pasta eaters, or are you more salad eaters? Do you eat a lot of meat or seafood or pickles? I like pickles. Ta-da! How should I pose? Let's pose like this today with an actual... I'm going to pose with my hand. Oh, but I always need to... Tomorrow I will have tape to tape down your paper, because otherwise, if I don't hold it down, it'll move around. Let's use colors for gesture drawings today. I can't believe it took me this long to figure out how to actually... That's the first time I broke the tip off in my colored pencil sharpener. I don't think that's ever happened before. Maybe that just means that red sucks. Pencil shavings probably make really good compost. Sorry, I'm just thinking about how I want to compost like everything. Itchy, itchy, itchy. Okay, so for the gesture drawings, you know, it's important to just get in the most basic shapes. You just want to put in some information on the paper, but it's not important to get anything specific. Quack, 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 quack. It's basically like a speed drawing. La 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 la. I wonder what would happen if I like broke all the rules. Sometimes that happens where you break all the rules and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh my goodness, like if I could draw that well every time. No, 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 no. I mean, that's basically, well, what I'm talking about is just skipping everything that I practiced and just drawing without any sort of guide at all, which you're not really supposed to do. At least in the beginning, but we already did all the hard work for class. I would consider practicing the anatomy like, what am I trying to say? You need to be like disciplined in your practice, because otherwise you just wouldn't really get anywhere. Is it weird that I think of drawing like martial arts? Do 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 do. I really like Zen paintings and artworks. Alan Watts used to give a lot of really good talks about that kind of stuff. If anyone knows who Alan Watts is, give me a shout out, because that guy shaped the way that I think, as well as Terence McKenna. And I also love Rupert Sheldrake, and who else? There's Abraham Hicks has a lot of good talks on YouTube. Do you guys have any deep net stuff that I would be interested in? The eye's wrong. See, that's the problem. If you don't put in your construction lines and stuff, then things are most likely going to be out of place. Unless you're a master. And I'm just like, I haven't recorded 10,000 hours of video, but I feel like at some point I'm going to end up recording 10,000 hours of video, so that's going to be fun. Well, I said that I would not put my gesture drawings on the same sheet, even though this is turning into one, but I think this is going to count as a gesture drawing because I just jumped into it and started drawing. And now I'm going to start the real drawing. Yeah, I just wanted to see what would happen if I was drawing with no regard. And it turns out that it probably wouldn't come out terrible if I had continued, but that's not what I want to do. 4/23/2021 JSJ. And I'm expecting once we get further in the anatomy and it's taking less brain power, it will translate into our actual portrait drawing. Like, we still haven't even gotten to the surface of the face in the in our textbook. So, oh man, I'm exhausted. But let's do this. I should stop talking about that. I am invigorated. Drink green tea; it's good for your health. So I know that all of you out there, maybe not every single one of you, is totally interested in drawing. Maybe you're just in one of those scenarios where you want me to subscribe to your channel. If that's the case, please let me know, because I love commenting on other people's videos, and I love, any kind of support that I could give is really what this is all about. Okay, so let's see. I start with a circle. I'm trying to imagine what a skull would look like on the paper. And I would start out with a circle, and then we've got the mandible, that goes around like this. I think I'm going to have to start practicing the mandible in my 3-dimension, what is it, 3/4, because that's where the nasal cavity is. If that's the frontal bone, we've got glabella, superciliary arch, superior temporal line. That would be the orbital. Again, zygomatic bone, the nasal bone. Here's my teeth. It's this, but not so far back in space. And then that's where my neck would go. I mean, my spine, whatever. All right. That's me doing the construction. Do I want to start putting on the muscles as well? I mean, if I did, that would be the Nasalis. Oh, goodness. Oh. Huh. So that's okay. The mandible connects to the back of the zygomatic bone. Actually, this might not turn out good, but it's actually helping me figure out the dimensions on the paper. I just wish I could get it a little clearer. Okay, so let's do this again from the top. Frontal bone. I think everything's in place. I just gotta figure out how to put it down. Here's my eyebrow, which really doesn't look like that at all. It looks more like this. My other eyebrow would go like this. Oh no, but that's all wrong. I've kind of just abandoned putting in the details for a second, because in your drawing you really want to start out general and then work your way more specific. I think the dimensions of the skull were working out, but didn't match exactly. With my picture. Maybe I'm just like super ugly. And I'll never get a good drawing of myself. But that's okay, because I just gotta find someone really pretty and I'll draw them. That'll be okay. I'm like actually trying. So it's important to just put in the miles, even if you're not getting the best work. Like me. I guess that goes for your YouTube channel as well. That's why I'm even going through the trouble to record any of this. Like, I do want to have a record of not being good, you know, so I can at least reference them in the future when I'm famous. Be like, yeah, I've been making YouTubes forever, and I wasn't discovered until I'd been making them for a whole year. So that's why you should do it too. Put a little eyelash in. Alright, I'm starting to see it underneath. You know, like the shapes. Like I can see how it's kind of supposed to be. It'll probably be much less guesswork once we're up to this in the notebook, in the textbook. Because it tells you this is how you draw a nose, this is how you draw lips, this is how you draw your eyes. And copying out of a book is so much easier than copying from real life. But that's why it's important to continue practicing drawing from real life. And it's enjoyable. You know, it feels better than if I was just drawing some bullshit, nothing that I didn't care about. Okay, I'm approaching the end of my attention span for this drawing. I like never do this part good. That's where my ear would be. This is going to go like this. And my hairline goes kind of like that. That's my hair, that's my hair. That's my hair, that's my hair. Does it look like hair? Kind of. And we've got the headphones going around the top. And some nice, beautiful... Oops, how do I want to... I'm still learning how to shade my hair. I've found that it's easier to put in the shading. Oops, I'm not even looking at my face. I'm drawing so much. I found it's easier to put in the color of the hair first and then draw the hair. So I didn't even really do that over here at all. Oops. It goes back in space. So let's just go back over it, and there's my little scrunchie. And if I were to put in the hair now, then it would look more like hair. So I guess that's me learning something new today about my own hair. And I've got these awesome curls at the bottom over here. It's like my favorite. I'm going like this the whole time. Oh my god, I gotta draw a good drawing. I can't draw good. I'm just kidding. So, if you're an adult who wants to learn how to draw, teach your kids. They will thank you. Knowing how to draw opens doors. There's like almost I can't even like what give me a reason to not draw. You can't think of one. Drawing is like the most useful skill you could have practically. Imagine you couldn't talk one day and you wanted to say duck. You could just draw a picture of a duck. So keep that in mind if you ever want to say duck in a language that you don't know. It's the universal language. Like everyone speaks picture. So you could literally go on any street corner and start drawing, and it will make you money. If You gotta know what you're doing, though. You know, people won't buy your crap if it's crap. Okay, so this is I'm over it. This is done. Putting in a little background. There's my. Oh, I drew on the table by accident. Were you a kid who, growing up, would accidentally like miss the paper? Did you draw inside the lines, or were you one of those asshole kids who drew on the floor and made people clean up after you? I'm just kidding. Kids act out for all sorts of reasons. I was thinking of specifically, I caught a kid underneath the cafeteria table just scribbling on the floor with marker, and I was like, what are you doing? Why are you drawing on the floor like that? And she just like didn't understand. But it turns out that I think she was acting out. She had like family problems. That's just something that you learn when you're an art teacher, because like just weird stuff starts coming out. Art is one of those things where it's like beyond the rational mind. So that's a thing. Okay, so if you ever feel like you're lost and you're stuck and you need inspiration, I would say draw a couple portraits, and you can just start there. All right. What do you think? Does it look like me? I would say it's starting to look like me, and I'm starting to feel an actual dimensionality in it. My little talkie ball. Yep, 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 and my little pit over here. Armpit. Oh, did I just screw it up? Yep, I screwed it up. Oh well. Something to learn. Oh my god, I've got like that weird Charlie Brown frowny face where it's all squiggled up now. Okay. Hey, at least it looks kind of happy this time. I would say it's actually starting to look a little happier. And this is all supposed to be more shadow. I'm switching pencils just for the sake of putting this line in. Okay. If I were to put this picture up next to myself, you know, it kind of looks like me a little bit. I wish you could see it better. Yeah, it's not a terrible drawing, considering we started from 0, and when you go from 0 to a completed thing, it kind of makes you feel good. 423, 20, 21, JSJ, butterfly smiley. That's it. We are once again at an hour and a half. Maybe it's going to be a 90-minute class instead of a 60-minute class, because in yoga, sometimes we would have one or the other or anywhere in between. If I ever feel like doing a 5-minute class, I will. So that was our anatomy figure drawing. That was our figure drawing. Self-portrait. We've got our gesture drawings. Let's put them in the book. That's where we always start. Okay, flippin'. I need to make dividers. Showing off the anatomy again. That was a really fun process to do together. That was fun last night. I'll probably keep drawing all night long while I listen to videos, because I have other work to do, and I get really bored when I'm listening to them talk. So I actually have found that I'm able to get more work done when I am multitasking like this. So always do the little analysis at the end. That's what we gesture. And that was yesterday's drawing compared to today's drawing. Honestly, today's drawing is better. You can see it in the eyes. Maybe I did the nose better last time, but that's like I mean, I would say they're really close, but I drew in the eyelashes. I kind of got the eyebrows better, and I got the texture of the hair better. And I tied it up before, and I had it down, so. I mean, I know that even more stuff, there's supposed to be like shadow here, and shadow here, and shadow here. I know there's supposed to be stuff under my neck. So, what I want to do is get to the point where I put in just, I don't know, like I want to just do a wash real quick and then put in a couple finishing touches. That's really all drawing is. Something general, you lay down something general and then you put in a couple like important specifics, but you could never have enough specifics. So you got to pick when to stop. If I were to go further back, you know, some are better, some are worse, but um this one is, I don't know. You kind of need to do a meta-analysis where you layer them all on top of each other in your mind, and you're like, well, I'm better now. I couldn't really tell you why. Like, this was the first one in the book? No, not really, kind of. Anyways, in the beginning, uh, I would have the portrait and the gesture on the same page. So that's why in the back, I have them together. But we stopped doing that. I felt like that was a bad habit to be in. Because the important thing is to get a drawing by itself, and you can't have that if it's covered in, you know, scribbles, crappy scribbles at that. Okay, so I won't keep you guys all day. This was another long video, hour and a half. Sorry, I think I've had even longer, so I'm gonna make lunch and spend the rest of the day cleaning and taking care of the plants. I've got caterpillars and butterflies right over there. I kind of want to leave them alone. I tried filming it for you guys, but it ruined the video, so I'll just have that separate. Yeah, that's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to check out your videos and see how you guys are doing. And yeah, remember that we're building... Oh goodness, my pencil shavings. That's not where I want. I need a garbage closer. So yeah, don't forget that we're building community, and yeah, it's just important for everyone to know how to draw. And maybe if I can encourage anyone to draw by having proof of when I wasn't drawing well, I don't know, maybe... I don't know, is that going to be helpful for you? Do you only want to see someone draw perfect every time? Ooh, Rome wasn't built in a day. Everyone's got to start somewhere. I don't know. You got to fail before you succeed. There's like a million things. I've got to say, though, the more I draw, the more healthy mentally I am. I've noticed that well, it's not perfect, though. I definitely know people who draw and paint and are mentally ill, so just work out your own shit. And I guess that's that. I'll see you tomorrow. Do you want to say goodbye? Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. Say bye, Jason. I just like to end class that way. Wow, I really need dividers. Sorry. That's my goal for next time. Flippin', flippin', flippin'. What a crappy video. Bye, everybody. Thanks. I think we're really starting to improve a little bit, and those little things add up in time, so remember that. Okay. Sayonara. Bye-bye. I love you guys. Thanks for coming, and see you tomorrow. Bye.